Hello everybody, welcome to the Python course. So in the previous lecture we have started with introduction to Python and installation. So there we have learned about the Python language, the IDs, what are the commonly used IDs, right? So in this part we will cover the installation of Anaconda with Python 3.7, right? So let's start. Okay. So in this part we'll see how we can download the Anaconda window installer. We will see a step by step how we can proceed with the installation. Then we'll see how our navigator comes into picture, and from that navigator we'll land up into our Jupyter notebooks. So first of all, let us try to understand what is Anaconda. For this, let us open our web page and we'll say download Anaconda with Python 3.7. Right? So the first link which comes at your browser results is individual edition, that is Anaconda. So we'll click on this edition and it says it is your data science toolkit, right? So basically what is Anaconda? Anaconda is your data science toolkit, which is the easiest way to perform your R, Python or data science or machine learning on a single machine, right? So what's the advantage of using this toolkit? So let us try to understand this. Suppose you need to work on a project that involves some machine learning or your data science or your normal Python project, let's say. For that, what you will do is first you will try to install your Python language, right? Go to your internet, search for Python installation and then install the libraries or install the Python language to your local system. After that, once the Python has been downloaded, you look for your ID. As we have already discussed, IDs gives us a better way of doing the programming. It eases the programmer's effort. It gives us some features which makes the programmer work efficient, right? So first you downloaded your Python, then you worked with your ID. After that, in some point of time you realize that I need some additional libraries also, because you are working for your client and client says to analyze your data, and for that data you need to install some library so that you could make some predictions, so that you could tell your client that okay, so by doing so and so, or by uh, on the basis of data we have analyzed this, that if you buy the milk products more, so you get a profit, right? So basically this kind of use case can come into picture. So what Anaconda says, it you don't need to install each and every library. So I provide you the toolkit in which everything is installed by default. So it is open source, right, first of all, and it is the world's most popular Python distribution platform with over 20 million users worldwide, right? So already your Python has been included in this Anaconda. You don't need to explicitly install your Python, right? Also, it consists of your 7500 data science and machine learning packages. By the use of your conda install command, you can start using those libraries, right? Also, it is also a managed environment. For example, you are working on multiple projects, so you can create your separate environments and easily segregate your environments, or one environment is independent of the other, right? And some of the inbuilt libraries you can have, it's your spider id is included, your Jupyter notebook is also included. You can work with your TensorFlow, PyTorch, Conda, Matplotlib, Pandas. So all these machine learning tools and libraries have already been included in your Anaconda toolkit, right? Then it has got user interface, very makes it very easier for learning as well as for doing the tasks, right? And how we can install it? So there are various kinds of installers. So as I've already told you, so this works with each and every platform, that whether it is your Windows, whether it is your Mac OS, whether it is your Linux, right? So you could have your new edition, that is the newer version, that is Python 3.7, and which is the stable one, and older version is 2.7, right? In the Mac OS also we got two versions, and in the Linux platform also you have two versions. If you are working with your Windows, and you need to select which kind of operating system you are working with, whether it is a 64-bit or a 32-bit, and likewise you could choose one of that, and then you could likely install your installers and then start working with your Anaconda in the Mac OS also, right? In the Linux also, right? So this is how you could install it, right? And what is Anaconda? So Anaconda is a toolkit which can ease the easiest ways to perform your data science and machine learning and your Python on a single machine. And it consists of additional libraries, that is 7500 libraries additionally it has provided, right? Okay. So according to our platform, which operating system we are working with, so you could choose any of it. So let's start with the Windows platform, right? So here, if I choose it 64-bit, so if I working with the 64-bit, so then I will choose this, and it will get downloaded or start getting downloaded in my downloads folder. It will prompt me that it is an exe, and the exe would start getting downloaded, right? After it has been downloaded, you double click on that exe, and this kind of setup will open up in your screen. Then it will say this is the welcome starter kit or the welcome kit in which you need to set up the Anaconda. Then you click on next. After that it says for the license agreement, you agree for the license. Then it says installation type. So if it is being installed for just you or individual edition, then it says just me, and all users that requires admin privileges, and that can be taken care of if you are working within an organization and there are multiple people they are using the same setup. So that's why, so that require admin privileges. So for the single user or for working individually, so you can click on just me and then click on next. Okay. So after that, it takes the by default location as your C drive, and it will create another directory with the name of Anaconda 3. The available space could change, might change, because it is being upgrading daily. So this is a this might change, and you can have a higher space, but make sure you have this much space required if it is written right on your C drive. Otherwise you can browse your other location and can install there also, right? After doing next, there this kind of screen will come. So it says advanced installation options. So basically there are two options. One is the uh, recommended approach, and another one is the alternative approach. So what is the basic difference between recommended and alternative? So recommended, right, in the alternative approach, so if you try to install Anaconda and click the add Anaconda to my path environment variables, and if you by somehow you encounter a error, so then it is very difficult for you that to install the Anaconda and reinstall the Anaconda, it might cause problems. So it is basically recommended you follow the uncheck the first option and follow the recommended approach, and then click on install, right? After the installation has been complete, so you click on set next, then it will ask you or prompt you for the additional setup, right? So then we could skip it or we could install it, so it's up to you, right? Now it says the Anaconda has been installed successfully on your system, and you can click on finish, right? So now this has been installed on your system, right? Now Anaconda has been installed on your system. So now you need to start working with your IDs such as Jupyter Notebook or Spider, right? So how we can do that? So for that, there is Anaconda Navigator, right? So how to open this navigator? For example, I am working on my Mac system. So this search bar in your Windows system is being provided at the bottom left position, right? After the start menu. There you can type Anaconda Navigator. So this kind of logo will appear and it says Anaconda Navigator. You click on enter and processing will start. Now it is being opening up, initializing. It might take a few seconds, a little longer time at the initial run, but afterwards it will take a shorter run, shorter duration, right, to open up, because it is being initialized at the first time, right? So after it has been initialized, so this kind of screen will come. Here you can see that the applications has been already been loaded in your Anaconda Navigator, right? Now you have the Jupyter Notebook also, you have the Spider also, right? At the first instance you might have, instead of launch there is an install. So whatever applications you want, you need to first install that applications, right? For example, I haven't installed this Orange or RStudio or Gluevis, right? So I have already installed Jupyter Notebook, Spider, Jupyter Lab, PyCharm, right? So based on your requirements, you can install any of the applications and start working with that, right? So in this Anaconda Navigator, here we have the environments. Here we have lot many libraries which are already been installed, right? So these are the libraries, right? And if you wanted to search a specific package, you can click here and you can start with working with these packages, right? Okay. So let us try to open up a Jupyter Notebook. So I will launch that Jupyter Notebook. So it says it is launching. Now your command prompt will open up, right? So now we'll try to analyze what is this command prompt and why it has opened up, right? So it will do some kind of initialization, and it says, so okay, now it will open up your browser. So this is a web based application, so client server architecture. Here you have your client which is being opened up at your local host at this port number, and it gives you the directory structure of your system, right? Here in this part you have your server opened up, right? So it says your servers has been opened up, and if you want to shut down the server, you have to press Control C, right? That all the kernels, all the uh, that files which we are trying to access will be closed, right? So this is basically the server which is which is being opened up, right? And this is your client which interacts with your web browser, right? Now let us try to see what's inside this. So we have three tabs, that is running and clusters. It shows how many terminals are running currently and how many notebooks are running currently, right? And also if we wanted to upload any file, so we could upload it, and if we wanted to create a new Python notebook, here we could create a new Python notebook. And if we wanted to quit this, we could quit this. The server will automatically get stopped, right? So these are the basic operations which we can follow in Jupyter Notebook, right? So let us try to make a new Python notebook. So now you can see that a new Python notebook has been opened up by the name of Untitled 5, right? So here in the running, you could see that this notebook is currently running, and in the server you could see that creating a new notebook in this, so it has got some kernel ID, right? So basically if you close this notebook is still running. So this doesn't mean that if you have closed that notebook, this notebook will be closed. Until and unless you shut down the server or you shut down this notebook, it will not get stopped, So kernel is still executing and kernel is still running in the background, right? So this thing we need to remember always. So even if you close the browser or close the tab in which in where your notebook was running, that doesn't mean your notebook shut has been shut down, right? So the kernel is being still be running at that particular notebook instance, right? Okay. So to open up, I could Control C and right. So this is right. If you close all these servers and try to run it, so this is how you could copy it, or you could simply type localhost colon 8888/3, right? Because your server is up and running, right? Okay. So let us try to open this notebook and see what it does. So there are various kinds of operations here in this notebook. We have file. Here we could create a new notebook. We can open an existing file, make a copy, save, rename, save and checkpoint, revert to checkpoint, right? And we can download as file in this various formats, right? So let us try to see one by one. So this file will be automatically saved. You don't need to explicitly press Ctrl S again and again, because after few seconds this will take the automatic save. But if you want and save at a particular checkpoint, then this is the option which we can do it, right? So now suppose, okay, so this is the file, right? And these are known as cells where we could write our Python code. So if I try to write print hello world and press shift and enter, so this get executed, right? So now we have written our Python code, and in this cell, and this is the executable cell, right, which gives the output in the console, right? So this is our console. Now if I wanted to download this file to a python.py file, that also we can do it. First of all, let's rename this file. I'll rename this as module underscore one underscore installation, right? Now I go to file, download as Python. So now you can see that it is saying it is being downloaded in my downloads folder. This type of file can harm your computer. Do you want to give this module.py? Yes, I want. So now if I try to open this, now you can see that this file has been opened up, right? So here it says print, and all the rest of the commands has been hashed, right, has been commented. So only the print hello world is whatever we write in the cell, or whatever we want this item to get executed, that only will get into the this part. So we have successfully converted our Python notebook into our .py file, right? So this is the process how we could convert our Jupyter notebook into the py file. There are other for file formats also. You could convert to a PDF, notebook, right, latex, HTML, right? Okay. Now let us try to know what kind of installation is this, what kind of extension does this Jupyter notebook holds. So Jupyter notebook comes with the extension of .ipynb. What does it mean? I means interactive, py means Python, nb means notebook. So always Jupyter notebook has this kind of extension, and if you wanted to convert this extension into .py, you can go to your downloads as and convert into a .py file, right? Okay. Then we have some options, that is we can save and checkpoint, insert a cell below, we can cut a cell, right, insert a cell, right? This is used to copy selected cell, this is used to paste, this is used to move selected cell up or down, right? Here we could run this cell, right? So this cell is run, right? We can stop, for example, interrupt the kernel. For example, uh, we end up writing a for loop or a while loop which goes infinite times, or which is getting executed for infinite times. For in order to stop that kernel, we use this that stop, right? This is for restart the kernel, and this is for restart the kernel and then run the whole notebook, right? So these are uh, some of the icons or the functionality which is being provided by the Jupyter, right? Right here we could insert cell below or insert cell up, and we could run cells, right? We could run all the cells in the notebook, right? Then we have in kernel, we could interrupt the kernel, we could restart, we could shut down, right? Okay. So, and another thing to note, so in the lecture we are also studied, so this Jupyter notebook also, here we could also write the information, right? So here, if your this code mode is being selected, then it means that you are into the execution part, so you can write your code and can execute your Python code. But if it is a markdown, then this code will not get executed in Python, right? So suppose I write something, this is my markdown, and enter, so only the text would be written, right? For this markdown, if I write hash, so it will give me heading, right? So some kind of information we wanted to put, that like this is my code, starting code, right? So this is my database connectivity, so I could write it, and then below this I could execute or write my code here. So for the other programs, it becomes very easy to interpret or to understand your code, right? So this kind of nomenclature, or you can say that documentation, has been provided by Jupyter, right? Here you can go for a markdown and then select the text and write your own markings, right? Okay, so this is your basic structure of your Jupyter notebooks, so we have covered so far, right? For the additional part also, you could see here we have the shortcut commands, right? So keyboard shortcuts are there, right? So that you can use, and then you can start working with them, right? Right. So there is help, in which we have the documentation for pandas, for matplotlib, for numpy, for Python, right? So this also you can try it out, and then you can look for it if you have some kind of trouble in using this Jupyter node, right? Okay, so to quit this, so we'll click on this, that the server has been stopped. You have to shut down the Jupyter, and you can close this tab, right? To again use Jupyter, you will again need to relaunch it. So this means we have successfully quit the operation of this server. So here you can see that the process has been completed, and we have log out, right, from the session. So now we could easily close our browser tab and also Jupyter notebook. So because we have closed down our server, right? In order to relaunch it, so we need to again click on notebook, and then again we need to go for it, right? Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. So thanks for watching. So in the next session we will start working with our variables and data types, right? So thank you guys, thanks for watching.